My name is Becky, and as the title says, I am a mom who at one point spent some time in jail. And not only was I in jail, but pretty much from a very early age, I found myself in the foster care system. I grew up in the state of New York, and I was in the foster care system, in group homes, detention centers, residential facilities, psychiatric centers, and was even in an all-girls lockup for 3 years, which was a good portion of my childhood. And eventually, of course, I spent some time in jail. I also lived on the streets for a short time. And I am 17 years out of that now. And again, I'm a mom to 2 beautiful children. I'm married. And I really wanted to find a way to reach out to a large number of people, and from home. And obviously the best way to do that is through YouTube and blogging. Now, over the last 17 years, I have traveled to various places in the world and across the U.S. with ministries like YWAM and some other ministries, reaching out to young people in group homes, residential facilities, jails, kids that are running the streets, living on the streets, orphanages overseas, and girls that find themselves in an unplanned crisis pregnancy, and people that are older who have come from these situations when they were younger and are just really still dealing with cycles and things that they just can't seem to overcome. And so my heart is just to continue to do that from my home, as I'm a mom now, and my life has, I'm just in this season of being a mom and staying at home. I'm homeschooling my little ones and loving it. But I just even in the last few months, I just have really had it just so heavy on my heart. All of the people that, in a way, it's like my people, the people that I have come from, not just in New York, but all across the U.S. and even different parts of the world, who don't come from a normal, functional home. I mean, everybody has some dysfunction in their lives, but I'm talking about people that are either in or who have come from very difficult situations, whether it be growing up in being a ward of the state, or growing up in a home where you're abused and rejected, going through rapes and molestation, getting arrested and spending time in jail, being addicted to drugs, all of these different things that so many people continue to struggle with into their older years. And so my heart is to be able to connect with you through these videos and through my blog, and just be able to be a tool that you can use to equip yourself in overcoming these things and not continuing to be overcome by them. And so how my journey began, coming out of all of this, 17 years ago, I was living on the streets in New York. I was homeless. I was an alcoholic, in every sense of the word, drinking all of the time. Maybe I wasn't even addicted to it, but I certainly was drinking all of the time, just ignoring the issues in my life and the fact that I had nowhere to go. And I found myself raped multiple times and just being used, while I was intoxicated. And out of this, I became pregnant. And while I was pregnant, an aunt in Dallas, Texas, found a maternity home that was a part of a ministry called YWAM. And she contacted them and told them about my situation, and they informed her that they were not really set up to take a girl like me, someone who's living on the streets, who recently spent some time in jail, and just, had all of these issues in her life. Most of the girls that they cared for came from Christian homes, and they just weren't really certain that they could take me on. And she hung up really discouraged, but a few days later she got a call from the director, and I don't remember the story exactly, but I believe that the director had a dream, and she said something to my aunt along the lines of, I don't know who this girl is, but she's supposed to be here. And so that month, my aunt purchased a Greyhound bus ticket for me, and I began the long journey from New York down to Texas, and I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant. When I got to the maternity home, this was the first time for many things for me. The biggest thing was just for the first time, I realized that there was this whole other world that I didn't even know existed. You know, growing up, I had just been, I guess, in this bubble, this inner city bubble, and the music, the culture, the violence, the poverty, the way that we interacted with each other, the way that we, you know, the trust issues and just everything. I mean, that was all that I knew. I didn't even know that you know that there was anything else that was normal outside of that. And so my eyes were opened. I mean, obviously, going from New York to you know, a maternity home in the country of East Texas, way out in the country where there were cows and horses, it was a whole new world to me. And then the second thing was the people that volunteered at the maternity home really loved me. And it was a sincere love, and it was in spite of anything I did or said, and who I, you know, who I was at that time, or who I thought I was at that time. They actually saw past all of that and believed in me. It didn't matter how foul my mouth was, or, you know, anything that I did. You know, I was so even just mean to the other girls, and rude, and you know, instigated things, and just, you know, continued to walk out the culture that I knew, and they just loved me in spite of it all. And through being loved and through them believing in me, I just came to realize that there really was a God. I mean, multiple times in my teens, I had, you know, cried out to God, you know, if you're there, get me out of here. And but, you know, there never really had been an answer to those prayers until now. And so now here I am in this maternity home, and these people are loving me, and I just realized that, you know, there is a God who sees me, and he sees past the woundedness and past the brokenness and the behavior, and he has a plan for my life. And you know, maybe you've even heard that before, he has a plan for my life, and you don't really know what that means. And so I was kind of in the same place. Like, I knew that he had a plan for my life, but I didn't know what that looked like or what that meant, because I still was so broken and so lost. So I gave my life to the Lord, and a few months later I had a beautiful baby boy. And pretty much 3 months into, after having him, 3 months into being a mom, I just my eyes were opened. I mean, obviously I knew that I was broken, but my eyes were open to just how far I had to go, and how many things I'd have to work through, and just that I would be bringing him with me through that, and the damage that that could cause to him. And I just really felt, actually, it was one of the first things I really felt from the Lord, and knew that it was him speaking to me, that it was just best for him and for me if I placed him for adoption. And so I began the process, and about a month later, I placed him for adoption with a wonderful family, and it was by far the most painful thing I have ever done. But 17 years later, I can tell you that it was the most beautiful thing that I have ever done. He is thriving and doing well, and has, you know, a future and a hope, and understands that I did that out of love. And so after I placed him for adoption, a few months later, I did what's called a discipleship training school with YWAM, and that began my journey of traveling, you know, all over the world and across the U.S. Again, speaking at various places to multiple young people and old people alike, and just getting to experience people being set free, and watching people you know, walk through healing and stuff, just from the various things that they've gone through. And so in 2005, one of the places that I went to was Brazil, and I met my husband there, who was working with street kids, or favela kids in Brazil, which are basically, some of them have homes, but they live in very impoverished areas. And he had a soccer ministry called Project Alpha that he was doing with the young people down there. And so we met and fell in love, and the next year I went back to Brazil, and we were married in Brazil, and had this wild adventure for the next several months, traveling around Brazil and seeing different things, and you know, getting to experience you know, doing things together, reaching out to young people together. It was really amazing. And so here we are several years later. We have 2 children, and they are wonderful. And I cannot believe, looking back, you know, 17, 18, 19 years ago, I never would have thought that I would be where I am today, that I will have, would have traveled to all those places and done the things that I have done, and especially being a mom. I never would have thought that I would have a successful marriage, that I would get out of poverty, and that I would be a successful, loving mother. That just wasn't even a possibility to me. I just assumed that I would just continue in the cycles for the rest of my life because that's all I knew, and it just simply who I was. I mean, and even people who worked at those various homes told me, you're never going to go anywhere, you're never going to amount to anything. Statistically, you're just not going to make it. And, the numbers do speak. Statistically, most people who come out of the situations and the places that I've come from continue a life of poverty and struggle and addictions and pain and self-destruction and even destroying others. And so my heart, again, is to reach out to you, my viewers. Many of you may still be in the mix. You may still be in a painful situation. Many of you have been out of those situations and are still just struggling with so many things. And so my heart, again, is to connect with you and to help you and to be a voice for you. I didn't have a voice. No one was listening to me. No one believed in me. No one saw me. No one saw me. I was just a number. I was just another one on welfare at the age of 17. I was just another homeless, good for nothing. And so I want to be a voice for you. I want you to understand that you don't have to just survive. It's the whole thing, survival to revival. You don't have to be in survival mode anymore. You can be in revival mode. All of the things that were in you as an infant, that were put in you, that have just been squelched and crushed through all the pain. I just want you to begin to experience those things wakening up again, because that's what it's about. It's about awakening. It's about the fact that we're slumbering, we're sleeping in our brokenness, in our cycles, and God wants to wake us up. He wants to wake us up and open our eyes to the reality of who we are and who we were meant to be. And He wants to bless us. He wants us to walk in freedom and to love well and to receive love well. And so that's my hope for you, is that through these videos, through my weak and finite videos, sharing my where I've been, the specific things that I've done and struggled with and how I overcame them, will just really be a help to you and a blessing to you and an encouragement to you that, that there is hope. And so in the coming weeks and months, once to several times a week, I will be making these videos covering various topics, and I would like to hear from you what you would like me to cover. So feel free to share in the comments below what you think, or something you would like me to talk about, or ask me a question if I've gone through something, share something you're struggling with and can't seem to overcome. And also check out my blog and my Facebook page, which I will also leave below. And share this video, get the word out. There are so many people that maybe you're watching this and you're not one of those people, but you know people who are. Share this video, and through it, maybe it will shed a little bit of light in someone's life and help to bring some freedom. So thanks so much for listening and joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again on YouTube. And yeah, so until next time, bye.